Today we are going to be trying out magic at 3 different bosses: Nakatra, Raksha, and Karapak. These are bosses I'm pretty familiar with. I have done a ton of them, all using magic, and they are probably the most comfortable I feel, and also the most comfortable when I use magic with. I have done a lot of them over the course of the last few months, and I would feel that I am somewhat of a casual expert when it comes to using magic. I don't use any other combat style at the moment, but I am trying to fence my way into other combat styles, but that is going to be postponed with the buff up to the Fractured Staff and the Elite Tectonic. The Fractured Staff will now grant you a 15 to 30% added critical strike damage, making every single critical strike deal a little bit more damage, and also emphasizing the time kind of mechanic that it got going on with the awesome special attack that launches an additional auto attack every single time you critical strike. So it is going to be a tremendous buff to magic, alongside the Tectonic, Elite Tectonic sets and the basic Tectonic sets, gaining critical strike chances, a time to be able to crit, and it's going to be amazing synergy. I think Jaggins did a great job introducing these buffs in a very natural manner, and I'm excited to get these tested out for you. Let's go right into it. We are going to be starting off at hard mode Sanctum, slowly inching our way into Raksha, and then finishing off for Karapak, where I think it really shined. I'm not entirely sure how this will feel because I'm so used to bleeding with the wands, and I'm very, very comfortable. I learned magic using the wands, so we're gonna see how staff camping feels. I don't know if it's gonna change that much, but okay, so we have 12% critical strike damage with the book, and then the full set of Tectonic now pushes up with an additional 6, giving us a grand total of 18. And then with the Channeler's Ring, you gain 4% critical strike chance on channel abilities. This could be better to swap this over to the Reaver's Ring, the Berserker's one, that gives you a flat 5% crit damage chance. So that's gonna be really good. The big worry is because I forgot to put Precise 6 on my weapon. I'm gonna suffer a little bit in Nakatra because Nakatra is a lot more defensive, so she has really high defensive stats. But we're gonna see how that feels entirely. But so we're gonna throw on Temporal real quick, and let's get right into it. I'm looking for these crits, dude. The main thing I'm trying to see is if I'm critting way more. So there's the staff spec. I'm looking for this critical strike damage. So I phased it a little faster. Typically I phase it after the 3 spikes have come up. I phased it on the second one in the middle. And not gonna lie, dude, it's kind of fire holding a big ass stick in the air, dude. So we can swap over to wands for the specs here, for the bleeds, because we're not in a sunshine rotation. Go back to the staff. Got deep breath here. 105 for the second side. Kind of just get through here. I shouldn't have reflected there. Now we build up and try and dump on them again. Noah Drenpot, Conk. We got staff spec here. Oh, all right. I turned off my prayer. That was bad. Okay, same thing, same time as before. Make sure to land these squares. And honestly, a lot of this stuff will just end up being a preference of which one you want to end up using. Like me, I love bleeding. I love bleed stacking, dude. It is so fun. So now I swapped over because I'm not in sunshine rotation. I'm gonna try and get the bleeds down here, and then we'll swap back. Okay, so we got moved over there. If I get a PB on the first try, that is immediately noticed by me that this is a buff. This is a straight, very noticeably strong buff. Because a lot of times you'll watch people's videos and like they'll be like the most sweat person on the planet, and of course they're gonna get better times because with the most minute change on the planet, they're gonna be able to notice it. But with someone like me, who's just like, yo, I'm gonna play the game, and just all of a sudden just gets a nasty PB, like the shard, getting a shard is a very good example of that, because I end up getting PBs with the shard just because I'm playing the game. You know what I mean? Not die here. I don't think I'm in biting range. I'm not seeing. Okay, I'm seeing more crits there. Not faster off the bat. Could have been a me thing, but so far it's standard time of 2:01, so nothing crazy right there. Ooh, one more chest though. We'll take it. Now I always save wand spec for the pillars, so as long as I can still get that rotation down, I'll feel better. Freedom here. Dude, the Fracture Staff looks so cool. I'm glad to be having it out again, like physically seeing it. Double wild magic there. Not the fastest I've done it before. Swap over. Get the bleed stack on there. Wand spec. Always get the bleed stack on there. Back-to-back wand specs. Dude, that's actually insane. That's why you want that. Now we're back on this side. Move over. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna get hit by one of these. Okay. Disruption shield the next one. And then sunshine here. Relentless proc on the sunshine. Huge. Got the staff spec going off, so we're fire off a crit every single time we hit. Let's not die here. The bleed damage is really noticeable. That it is like a lot less. Reflect. Pit pot. Done. We got 5 seconds. Like an ABS here. Dive in. Okay, I thought I was gonna hit the squares there. Move in. The bleed stack up. Want the bleed stack for the pillars. One spec the pillar. Nice, got another reset. Huge. Dude, I one shot the pillars again. I guess 2 shot them though. Baby jail again. Switch over for power combust. Break out. We got sunshine here. A dren pot. Nami. Walk up. Oh my goodness, I didn't walk up. No PB though. Wild magic there. I'll walk into that. Alright, this was going good, then I messed up. Freedom out. Get a bleed stack on. One spec. Oh my gosh, every single one spec reset, dude. That is insane. Alright, so 320, that is a me problem. But do I notice the difference in it? Kind of, sort of. I was more mesmerized by the wands resetting every single time. Every single spec they're reset. So, I mean, it's nothing tremendous right there so far. Alright, let's see how... Now, the real kicker is going to be Nakatra. So we'll see how this feels in general. Opener's going pretty good. Devotion. Double wild magic there. No crits on the double magic. Okay, good phase at the beginning. So even without precise 6 on it, I'm still at 97% accuracy, which is pretty good. So now I can swap over to the mage stuff. I didn't put the stack on there, so that's kind of bad. Res 1. Disruption shield 1. Okay. Back at it. We got sunshine in 1 moment, so want to build up here. So far looking good. Switch back. Sunshine. There we go. We got staff spec in a second. Done this guy. Done that guy. Staff spec now. Build off. Free vuln. Free devotion here. And then now, get a bleed stock on these guys. Swap for the wand. Try and get resets. Nothing. Switch back to the staff. No empower combust. Get a wave here. Here comes the heal. Oh, double omni. Huge. Triple omni. Huger. The combust damage is way weaker though, dude. The combust damage is very, very noticeable. Usually with the wand stuff, I'm hitting way harder. Get the omni off. Okay. Got her down to 451, which is solid. Overall though, the feel isn't extremely noticeable, but the staff does feel more usable as opposed to camping it. Because we're making pretty good time. Usually don't sunshine here, but I did it. Tsunami. That was a huge tsunami. 20k crit in tsunami. Reflect. Stay in the same spot. Don't want to overdo this. On my fastest are 168. So far it's pretty normal. 352 going into second cycle. Sun tornado. Okay. These are pretty average times so far. Now, could this be a user issue, a skill issue? Most likely. So this is more so what you're gonna end up doing, because a lot of y'all are gonna be coming from necromancy coming into this stuff. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to feel a lot more engaging, I would say, because there's going to be a lot more switchscape involved when it comes to a lot of these other things. But it is going to be easier to camp, because if you're swapping between it, you're still going to get you're not going to get the crit chance. Nice. All right. Very good. So, not going to lie, that wasn't terrible. It kind of felt the same. 448, nothing awful. The crit damage is kind of noticeable, I will say. You do crit a lot, but I also don't know. I do notice more crits, but that's more so something a bonus to from the tectonic, as opposed to the bonus to from the what's it called, staff itself. So what I'm thinking, you could swap. You could use the wand spec. You can camp the wand. And then because you have guaranteed crits from Fractured Staff, you can swap the tendrils for that. Or whenever you're using G-Conk. It's making it a lot more switchy as opposed to what you'd like to see. But let's test another boss. Let's go into Raksha and see how that feels. And so for Raksha, what we're going to do, we are going to just purely camp the staff, no swapping. And we're just going to see how that feels. I'm pretty decent when it comes to Raksha skipping. I do a lot of pool skips traditionally. I don't do anything else when it comes to that. I also don't pre-build. I go in there straight raw dogging and seeing how we feel. I kind of have higher hopes here. I think I have a more consistent feel overall when it comes to this. But I think that camping the staff is going to be a little bit more beneficial. It's going to feel a little weaker in these beginning portions as opposed to how it feels afterward. I was going to get stunned there. We're good. I'm just trying to feel off the overall damage here. The bleed resetting that you get is actually a lot from the wand spec. Not going to lie. I used freedom on accident early. I'm still going to be stunned here. It's all good. We can recover. We can reflect coming down. And then now we can begin building up for our pool skipping phase. For the pool skip, you want to start building up your stuff around 500k HP. That way you have everything up going in, and you also still have a little bit of natural instinct going. Make sure you have all of your buffs applied, because typically by this point you're at 1 minute, so your vulnerability and your smoke cloud are going to begin to fall off. Don't want to use tsunami or the staff spec until about 100-ish HP, and then you're good to go. So now we're going into here. Let's begin the rotation. Tendrils into... Oh shoot, I accidentally swapped. Oh dude, that is such a... Alright, we still skipped though. Alright, so that was an accident. I accidentally swapped and used the wand spec there. But we still got through it. That was like muscle memory right there, dude. Now, I'm going to be interested to see how this feels once we get all of the stacks from Raksha at the end, when we have everything else going. Here he comes. He's doing his stuff. We skipped through it there. Collect the shadow where we can. We got 6. Build up. Sunshine here. Walk back. Divert. Get a free hit. They gave us our staff bonus right there. Back up. The 247. Nothing. Not gonna lie, that didn't feel like any better. I think I could do a lot more damage with the wand spec there, because the bleed's also getting powered at Raksha. So we having the constant resetting, even on the combust or corruption shot as your basic abilities, and they hit like a truck because the wands buff damage over time abilities by 30%. And then if you're using metamorphosis in that section as well, you're going to be hitting a lot more, right? But again, a lot of these things are going to come down to feel, and I personally don't notice a huge change in the feel, but I do like the crit chance that is coming from Tectonic. So again, Tectonic is so far two in a row. The remaining is are kind of going. We're gonna see how Carapac feels now, the one who creates the fractured staff, and we're gonna see how that madman goes in general. We got everything up here. We got the staff equipped, and we're going in brutal. Let's see how this feels. Kind of rusty when it comes to my Carapac. However, I'm fantastic at the video game, so we'll figure it out as we go, huh? Fun fact, Carapac is what got me into the game, dude. Here we go. Get the walk under. Critting like crazy. It's solid. Very good crits right there. Omni into ABS. So far, I feel like I'm doing insane damage. This is really good. Yeah, the guaranteed crit damage. I do notice the crit damage from Tendrils, though. I just hit a 10k crit right there. So we beat the walls. We beat the walls. That's most important part if you're doing casual Carapac. Getting into being able to skip the walls is very, very big. So now, if you're going into this with the next portion, right? Wait until he does like 2 autos and then use Time Warp, and then you can use everything else and dump everything. Because now you won't get sucked out if you are Time Warped underneath him, and that's going to mess up everything. Get the Nami out before. Got Staff now again. Get the Vaughn out. This is going pretty well. I'm happy with this one so far. $174. We might not be able to get it here in time. Now, it might make using Tendrils outside the rotation better because they're guaranteed critical strikes. So if they're guaranteed critical strikes and it's going to do 50% to 30 more damage, the critical strikes is going to be a lot more stronger. Get across. He's doing his thing. Use Time Warp here right before. Accidentally came out too early. Take care of the ball. Easy day. You're gonna get the Omni out here. So he's probably gonna end up getting jump. The ABS here. Getting ready to go into phase 4. See what we can do. Use tendrils outside of rotation and see how that feels. 4, 5k. That is a pretty strong threshold then. Alright, so now we want to be careful now. Oh, the double wall hit, dude. Alright. Alright. So after going through that last phase, I do think the wand spec is going to be better for dealing with the clones, as opposed to you just sitting there and trying to build up the stacks with everything. Because when you're doing tendrils, the main thing, you don't want to take all that damage when you're using tendrils. It's going to feel kind of brutal. So I think, actually, just swap. You can camp the staff for most of care pack. You can weave it in there as you get better with the style. But I think just being able to camp there for what best you can, you'll be able to figure out everything else. But all in all, though, after trying it, Nikatra, Raksha, care pack, very solid mage bosses where the style does pretty well, in my opinion, as someone who's very, very comfortable with it. I think the changes are very noticeable in terms of for care pack. For the first two, they are kind of like gonna require a little more testing, a little bit more practice, because going from a non-super switch heavy, because the only switch for prior was you would camp the wand and orb, and then you would swap just for the fractured staff spec. But now we in between the two of them, the damage you lose from the enhanced bleeds and all the overall bleed resetting and the damage from that is noticeable, especially for someone like me who is extremely used to it. So overall, though, I think the changes are pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with it, and I would love to hear your feedback and what you think about it. Let me know in the comments if you think this is overall better, the same, or just over a little bit stronger. But overall, though, the king of this update, though, is the crit chance from Tectonic. That 6% crit chance boosting you up from the 12% crit chance and then up having an additional 18% crit chance is amazing. The critical strike damage from tendrils is pretty solid, but I think that it's going to be give and take and how overall this feels. People will min-max and learn the ways of the meta, but overall, if you're just picking up magic and you are just trying your best to do this, you will... I think you're going to get the hang of it pretty easily. Alright, bro. Catch you next one.